We're going to be focusing on tape hair extensions. We're going to be looking at preparation, application, blending, removal and retaping. Lauren starts by cutting the client's natural hair, removing any weight lines and reducing bulk through the ends. Before we begin, let's take a look at placement of tape hair extensions. You should always have an inch or a 2-finger exclusion zone around the perimeter of the head. We want to make sure we're working in brick formation throughout. This will prevent any gaps. We want to work no higher than the crown, and we want to make sure that we're following the natural curve of the head. Following the curve and working diagonally when needed will prevent any excess tension on the hair. With this in mind, it may be round the perimeter you want to use a half tape instead of a full. This will make sure that you don't see any of those tapes showing round the hairline. As you can see in the demonstration, you can see the tape in the first image, and it's quite a wide tape. In the second image, there is no tape on show, which means it's been applied correctly and neatly. Okay, so we're ready to go. Lauren starts by sectioning off the front of the hair in a radial parting. She then works up from the back in inch sections or our 2-finger exclusion zone. Lauren makes sure there's no flyaway hairs by pinning securely out of the way. The protective paper is removed from the top of the tape to expose the bonding beneath. This is what we're going to be sticking the hair to. Lauren measures an inch from the perimeter and takes a hairline section. By hairline, we mean super fine and not wider than the tape. It should have about 1 millimetre each side of the tape for clearance. All excess hair is clipped out the way. The first tape is applied under the hair at 0° elevation. This will reduce any excess tension. As you can see, it's also 1/4 of an inch away from the root. This will help when you're applying your hair up. The second tape is applied directly above the hair, making sure there's no adhesive on show. It is clamped together to secure. This process is repeated throughout the hair. It may be that you want to use tape for length. It might be that you don't need as many because you just want to increase the thickness. The tapes are checked by pulling up and underneath, making sure there's no excess hair attached. We also want to make sure you can't see it from the hairline. We now progress to the sides. Lauren uses a slight diagonal angle to follow the natural hair fall. This will prevent any excess tension or pulling on the hair. Here's a little tip. If your client fancies lighter pieces without chemical damage, you can use different coloured tapes to create natural highlights throughout the hair. Lauren takes a wider section to continue the brick pattern. This continues on both sides of the hair. Once your tape application is complete, it's time to blend those hair extensions. Lauren point cuts the ends to remove any excess length. She then progresses to the sides to create natural feathering around the front hairline. One little tip you need to know is if you don't face frame hair extensions, sometimes they don't look natural. When layering hair extensions, one technique is to elevate the hair and point cut into that length to get rid of any bulk. You can also slice cut or razor cut depending on the technique. Once you've cross-checked the cut, it's now time to style that hair. So now let's take a look at removal of hair extensions. We use a tape removal spray and allow that to sink into the adhesive. You then gently pull apart that hair and the tape should remove seamlessly. When retaping the hair, wash the adhesive in clarifying shampoo to remove the stickiness and the old bonding. Then you can unpeel a new tape and attach to the top of the weft. Let's take a quick recap. Spray each tab 2 to 3 times with the extension remover. Spray into the tab directly and not on top of it. We need to make sure that it penetrates. Let the remover sit on the tab for a few seconds. Slowly peel off the tab from end to end. You can use your pintail comb to tease any hair. Make sure you wash the client's hair to remove any stickiness. We want to make sure we use clarifying shampoo for this. Let's take a look at maintenance advice. Sulfate-free products should always be used with extensions. If you can use moisturising products on the mids and ends only, this is recommended as hair extensions don't produce natural oils. Do not use conditioner directly on the bonds as this will cause slipping. Maintenance for tape should be every 6 to 8 weeks following the client's natural hair growth. Don't use any heavy brushing on the tapes and secure the root with your palm when doing so. Don't use heat tools directly on the tabs. They can be used on mids and ends, but make sure it's at a low to medium heat. Excess chlorine exposure is not recommended. Occasional exposure is okay. High ponytails shouldn't be in place for the first week at least after installation, but we always recommend a low ponytail where possible. Washing should be 1 to 3 times a week using sulfate-free shampoo, and make sure that the hair extensions are always in a plait when you sleep. Thanks for joining us, and make sure you tag us in your work at Jet Virtual.